It's Thursday fun. Hey, how do you deal with NCOV 2019? Indeed, you will keel over if you get dehydrated and don't do anything about it. Fluids, water, no alcohol, no cigarettes, Tylenol, aspirin, and rest and high calorie snacks. It's pretty simple. Wash your hands. Of course, the NCOV 2019 has been found to be transmitted only by birds and certain types of birds, so some of the preppers online are coming up with creative methods of dealing with it. First off, we have Daniel God. He has actually developed a training regime where he takes ultra trained preppers and teaches them to avoid being zapped by the birds and shoot them, and this is pretty good. We should all have this high level of fitness. Okay, here we go. Are you kidding me?
I think I actually just fell on the ground and rolled over.
You had a big hesitation there. Oh, yes!
And the other one, of course, is Shlisa Shell, who's actually caught actual pictures of the birds from China killing our native birds, and when the birds die, their ash actually goes into our lungs and it causes us to have NCOV 2019. And I believe this is also associated with the secret United Nations project to put all Americans in FEMA camps so we can then sneak into their homes and steal their guns. Meanwhile, Australia has very famously managed to avoid any flu whatsoever thanks to their dynamic and brilliantly inspired modern government. But they are having a real serious plague. It's absolutely devastating Australia right now. Plague of snakes.
And instead I can have a snake and a tail thing hanging off me. But I've just had my shower to get ready to go to bed. Well, not go to bed, but to chill out and relax and catch up on a few, I can't even, you could suffocate me through my nose, but that's about it, Apani. And now I'm going to take my glasses off. Like, I can't see without my glasses, dude. Don't you know that? Okay. Another one of those videos where all you see is a snake climbing on my head and my glasses, and as you can see again, Apani is way too big to be doing this with me, but he tries, like, and he's so determined to do so, and I give in, don't I? I give in and I let you do what it is that you want to do, and it's very uncomfortable, I must say.
Wow, and we think we have it bad here. Luckily Canada doesn't have any snakes whatsoever. That's one of the many comments I put in my videos just to annoy people, so then they can go, what about the Mississauga rattlesnake, etc, etc, and a lot of other snakes. But we don't really have very dangerous snakes like they obviously do in Australia. But I think Gay is going to be okay, because I think Apani has actually decided to train Gay and keep her as a human slave. Meanwhile, Corsair Trainers, Steve, and of Dennis's channel, he actually came on and made an announcement and explained to people that he just spent 25 years in a federal prison. And there's not a lot of us can say that because a lot of us aren't as old as Steve. But anyway, I'm glad you're out, Steve. I'm glad you no longer have to go to prison. And I look forward to actually, on a more serious note, actually hearing more about the insides of prisons, because I've actually worked with people and talked to people who actually work in forensic prisons and all that sort of stuff. And he's right. Unless you've been inside for 25 years like Steve has, you really won't know what you're talking about if you want to talk about prisons in SHTF or prisons in general. It's the same with pretty much any specialist topic, but yet people keep talking about it. They keep talking about stuff they don't know anything about from channels that they haven't verified that are actually telling them garbage.
Because I know I'm going to get a bunch of dander up from folks when I start talking about this, because everybody has a lot of misconceptions about prison and whatnot. And I actually have a little experience to sit here and talk to you about it. For those of you guys new to the channel or just stumble upon this video, I just recently, after 25 years of working in the federal prisons, so I kind of have a clue what I'm talking about. I'm not theorizing, I'm not going to glamorize anything. I'm just going to tell you the cold hard facts, and that might be really hard for some folks to swallow.
Not really, Steve. It's very easy for people to swallow it. They just look at you, and as they've looked at me, and they say, "You're a secret agent of the deep state. Everything you say is a lie to manipulate me to get my gun removed, or to get Obama elected as president forever based upon the United Nations, or Bill Gates manufactured the coronavirus, which is utter crap." But yet people like to never believe that they may be misled. This is the same with chemtrails, which absolutely have no basis in reality at all in 2020, and various other things that people firmly believe are true, like climate change is a hoax, the planet isn't warming up, we're not all going to die if we keep pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere in the near future. It's comforting to know that you are special, and because of a couple of videos you've watched, you know more than everybody else, especially experts and scientists. Experts and scientists are all just doing this to manipulate me, because I'm too stupid to understand what they're actually trying to say to me. And I feel good if I'm not being manipulated by truth. It's much better to be manipulated by lies. It's much better to believe big oil, right? Big pharmacy. Bernie Sanders, crazy man. He wants to give free healthcare to America, which will cut the healthcare costs for Americans by half. But he's crazy, isn't he? Anyway, speaking of which, America's got an election going on. You may not know that. The problem with America, there's lots of problems with America, of course, problems with every country, but one of the main problems with America is that they elect people every 4 years, but for some bizarre reason, they allow big corporations to fund the election process so that big corporations can actually pretend it's democratic, but insert the people they want in positions of power so they can control you. And people go along with that because they're insane. But the other major problem with it is that the election cycle is basically 4 years. So you spend a year to 2 years getting elected as president. You spend a year trying to figure out what the heck the red button's for and keep pressing it by mistake and getting told off. And then you spend a year insulting everybody around the world that used to be firm allies of you. And then you spend a year trying to stop people finding out about a criminal conviction that may occur to you on rape, and by pretending other things are going on. And then you spend a year fighting to get re-elected again. I don't know why anybody bothers, to be frank with you. Anybody that wants to go through that process must be crazy. However, American politics, like all politics, is crazy, but America, like everything else, does it better than anybody else.
Well, Joe Biden seems to be cracking a bit under the pressures of the campaign trail. Yesterday morning, he woke up to a new Bernie ad about his record on Social Security.
Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President? Why attack Sanders? Why, you're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. He apologized for saying that I was corrupt. He didn't say anything about whether or not I was telling the truth about Social Security.
Over those 8 years, there were 3 million people that were deported and separated from their families. Yeah. We had this classification of families.
You should vote for Trump. You should vote for Trump.
And there have been many more moments just like these.
I'm going to support you if you win the nominations. We got to get rid of Trump. But what are we going to do about climate change? Now, you say you're against pipelines, but then you want to replace these gas lines. That's not going to work. We got to stop building and replacing pipelines. You got to go vote for someone else.
All right, thanks so much, sir. We're going to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm going to vote you in the general if you treat me right.
I know. I'm not.
Well, can I have
Look, you're asking a picture of me. You're coming up and telling me you don't support me.
No.
My plan. Yeah, you did. You said
I said I will support you in the general.
In the general. I'm looking for a primary.
We're happy to get a number.
That's what I'm Okay?
Just because we're finding it.
Do you believe that Bernie can do something and by 2030?
I'm actually supporting Trump's tire.
Trump's, well, that's good. He's the guy that did
Thanks
more
so
coal
much, sir. We have
mines.
a long line right here.
The entire country did.
Alright, thank you. Happy to get
You got the right guy.
Can we get a picture?
Rumours are he never got his picture. But I think it's interesting that Joe Biden is pivoting away from his molestation of young girls and women and snipping hair and touching them inappropriately in public places, goodness knows what he does in private places, to actually grabbing hold of males and touching them and pushing them on the election campaign, because he thinks the Secret Service will intervene if they actually respond in like. But I do think people at this point do have a case to launch a civil suit on Joe for actually grabbing hold of him in public. What do you think? Anyway, enough of senility and rich people who pretend to be nice and when they're not, and they want to cut Social Security and Medicare and anything else, and they want to make sure that Big Pharma and Big Oil and Amazon and all the rest of them keep giving them millions of dollars a year, because that's what American politics has become. Donald Trump promised to drain the swamp. He hasn't in any way at all, and that's a shame. Somebody needs to drain the swamp. Oh, you guys are going to go down at some point. You really can't keep spending the amount of money you have on nothing based upon debt, and nothing is bullying and attacking people all around the world who really don't want you to do so, and you don't need to do so in the way you're doing it. Everything's a big stick, isn't it? Nothing smart. Anyhow, back to the campaign. Meanwhile, the DNC is promoting itself as the anti-Trump establishment, and pretty much everybody on the left's abandoned them. They're only sticking around on the off chance they don't fix it so Bernie doesn't win again. If Bernie doesn't win the nomination, DNC's dead. Anyway, I'll play you out a nice song from Ron Placone, an excellent channel. He has a cat, and any channel that has a cat really needs watching. And if I could grab hold of my pussies, I would have cats on video much more often. Toodles.
And I don't care about fracking or drone strikes, 'cause that ain't gonna happen next door. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. Now I vote for the Democratic Party, 'cause they have the better deal. And I have lots of love for the Clintons, always have and I always will. And we need to believe all women, unless it's about Biden or Bill. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal.
This is a Bad Terrier 2020 production.